Welcome to another Yorkshire Fossils fossil hunting episode. Me and Aaron were out a few days ago, so I'm going to go back to the same beach today and see what we missed. I've just parked up and I'm on my way down to the beach now. Unfortunately, it's just started raining, so I'm not too sure what it's going to be like getting down. It's known for getting quite slippy, but I'm sure I'll be able to manage. It's not too bad. Because the ground's a little bit wet, it's a little bit more sticky so that your boots actually grip a little bit better. This isn't bad at all, as long as you keep the rope nice and tight. It's probably the easiest it's been in a while, actually. Hands aren't too bad. I'm just walking where there's a bit of grass just to get a bit of grip, because it's a little bit further to that side. It's all just sloppy mud. There's nothing to hold on to, so when you go, you're gone. It's a bit dramatic, you only go on your bottom. I'm at my destination now, so all that's left to do is to hunt for some fossils. It's actually an ammonite just down here. Not bad, first end of the day. Problem is, once you start looking, it's hard to stop and move on. I've got a bag here with 3 nodules in, all containing ammonites, which I found just on the way here. So let's see what's left on the rest of this beach. Looks like there might be a fossil in this rock. You can see there the edge of the ammonite. If we reverse it, looks like it's already been split open at some point. You can see there that the ammonite's split right through the centre, and that's why you can see all of this calcite. So when we can leave, just put that there just in case anyone else wants to find it. This looks like a nice nodule. Put it in the bag. It's one to split open later. There's a nice pyritic nodule here. On this one, we can actually see cross sections of some tiny ammonite fossils, so potentially there could be some more inside this one. It will be quite tricky to break open because it's so thin, but I think because we can see signs of fossils inside, it's worth trying. Just making sure as well that I don't get too close to the cliffs. They're quite unstable this time of the year, especially after lots of rain. Looks like there's some fossil coral here. It's quite unusual to find on this particular beach, and the reason it's unusual is because this coral is a lot older than the material that you find here. So this piece of coral is from the lower Lias, so it's about 200 million years old, whereas all of the material that we're searching through is the upper Lias, so about 180 million years old. So presumably this has been deposited by a glacier millions of years ago, and then it's been washed up by the rough seas. Pretty cool. And as well as that, just there, spotted an ammonite. Another one to put into the bag. I spotted another one just down here. See, there's another beautiful ammonite specimen, another one for the bag. And there's another, not as big as the other ones, it's a really small ammonite. Awesome. It's really nice when you find little pockets and it's just filled with ammonite nodules. There's another nodule here and another partial ammonite. And then this other nodule. See a small bivalve shell in it, and then if I rotate it round, there's a perfect ammonite in there. So this ammonite will still have all of its detail. Nice. There's another tiny ammonite fossil here, but I think on this occasion this one is just really too far gone. See lots of calcite inside, which means it probably wouldn't split that well anyway. You can see there's not really much to save with that one, so I'll leave that one there. There's another ammonite just on the edge of this rock. That's what I saw, but is there anything else? No, the rest of it's gone. It's another one which we can leave on the beach. Oh, there we go. See if you can spot the fossil. So in this shot, there's an impression of an ammonite. So where there's been an ammonite and it's just the reverse and what's left of it. And there's also an ammonite still in a nodule. So the impression is here. You can see there it's quite badly eroded, but at one point there would have been a lovely little impression there and an even nicer ammonite, which hopefully someone else has managed to save. And then the ammonite nodule is just here. See there's a beautiful Dactylioceras ammonite specimen in there. Should come up lovely, this one. Another one for the bag. Right, there's another ammonite fossil. I'll see if you can spot it from a distance and then I'll get a little bit closer. Okay, so it's an ammonite nodule that would need to be cracked open. So I can see the outer edges of the ammonite, but the centre hasn't been revealed just yet. It's actually right in the centre of the frame, so it's just here. Another lovely ammonite. We haven't been on the beach long at all, and already it's been really productive. So this one is quite a eroded ammonite, but I've also spotted another perfect ammonite nodule. So I'll see if you can spot this one as well. So you're looking for a grey rounded rock, roughly the palm size of your hand. So it's worth noting that these Dactylioceras ammonites never grew much bigger than around 4 inches. Occasionally there have been ones that have been found that are much bigger, but on average you're looking for a nodule that's 2 to 3 inches in size. Anything that's larger than that and it's probably a different species of ammonite. Okay, so it's actually just here. You can see this example on this side, the ammonite's still got a lot of its detail and a lot of it's still actually encased in the rock. So this example could come out pretty nice with a bit of preparation. You see it's on the more larger side of this particular species of ammonite. Another one for the bag. While I've been looking at that one, I've actually spotted another ammonite just there. It's just crazy how many there are. Nice. It's a nodule down here with lots and lots of calcified ammonites inside. You can see there's some really small, most likely gracile ammonites in there, but they're really calcified and the material itself is quite tough to prepare, so we usually leave those ones. I wonder if this is an ammonite nodule, not entirely sure. It's been the right type of rock. It is limestone, but this one's just contained some cross sections of bivalve shells, so there hasn't been an ammonite in this one, but just some little fossil shells. Oh, got a nice ammonite nodule just in front of me, it's right there. Just take a bit of that seaweed off. You can see there's a beautiful, nice sized ammonite in there. It actually looks like there's 2 in there, but it's actually just part of this ammonite, but it's crushed and laid over to one side. I can't see anything on the outer edges of this. I'll keep hold of that one and we'll check that one in a little while. Oh, there's a much more obvious ammonite that was buried underneath the sand. I mean, that should be a stunner, that one. Oh, the bag's getting quite full now. Looks like this is the last little patch of stones that we'll be searching through on this little particular bit of beach. Let's get over there. Believe it or not, just as I've been walking over to the next part of the beach, I searched through where I've already searched and I found another bag full of nodules. So these aren't even the ones that I found earlier, these are completely different. Looks like it's going to be a heavy bag on the way up. Oh, I was just about to start filming, and as I was making my way around, I actually found this perfect ammonite rock. It was buried in the sand, just reversed that way, but you can see there's a perfect ammonite in there. I'm actually really tempted to try and get the other side off, so I think I'll give it a go. So I've been quite selective with the nodules I'm going to be splitting open. I've got 3 here where I'm not too sure if they contain anything or not. And then I've got these 2 ammonites, which definitely have fossils inside. And then we've got this one, which I just picked up. Definitely need our safety glasses for this pyrite rock, which I think we'll start with. We have actually got a little bit of a split. On the very edge, we have this tiny pyrite ammonite. It's nothing that's worth keeping. Let's try one of the other ones. Another empty stone. Hopefully we'll get lucky with the next one. There we are, we've got a clean split. Is there anything inside? So there has been an ammonite inside, but unfortunately it's just been a really calcified example, so it's not one that's worth keeping on this occasion. We've got a split. Oh, you can see here the ammonite is split open perfectly. Look at the colours on that. They don't split much better than that. Tiny little bit of rock in the centre that needs to be removed with a fine pen at home. But apart from that, it's a beautiful example. Let's hope we get just as lucky with the next one. And there we are, we've got a nice split. Oh, it's another perfect one. We've got an absolutely perfect split. Lovely. Let's try and reveal that last one. So we've already got one side revealed. Let's try and fully remove the ammonite from the rock. We're definitely going to have to be a bit more careful with this one. There we are, and it's given way. Oh wow. Nice. It's not very often you get the ammonite right out of the rock. I think you can agree, this one's come out really well. I can't believe how many were found just on this first bit of beach. And there's even more pebbles to search through on the other beaches. So we've had a really good start so far. What an awesome start to the session. Those 3 ammonites are absolutely perfect. I'm gonna make my way now over to the next part of the beach where hopefully we'll find even more.
This rare fossil is a dinosaur vertebra. We're going to prepare it and get it ready for display. Starting off with our air pneumatic tools, we quickly remove the bulk of the limestone that's covering the fossil. We also have a selection of grinders that we are using to gently remove the surface of the limestone close to the fossil. Working on a dinosaur bone is a really rare experience, and our dad is carefully preparing it. As we're progressing through this project, lots of natural fractures are becoming evident throughout the fossil. It's a very delicate piece. Every time we identify a natural fracture, we have to consolidate it with glue and other substances in order to keep the fossil completely intact throughout this preparation. You can already see much of the surface of the bone is now exposed. We've made a lot of progress in such a short space of time. You can see loose pieces of bone still are evident along the outer rim of this vertebra. We've already pretty much fully prepared one side of it, and now we just have the other side of this bone to go, and it'll be ready for display. In just a moment, we will see the finished, fully prepared dinosaur vertebra. Just before we finish up, we notice another large crack. So we tape it back up, and our dad does some more fossil restoration before it's finished. And here we have the final result. What started off as a bone covered in rock is now fully exposed. You can even see close up all of the intricate detail, such as those calcite veins throughout the bone itself, as well as lots of the honeycomb structure of this ancient 180 million year old bone. This is such a rare find, and we are really pleased to have worked on this specimen and brought it back to life.
You see there's a cross section of a belemnite there. You see there's another belemnite fossil. So the phragmocone would have been here, and then the tip of the belemnite is still under the rock. It's another little deathbed of belemnites. See that they're washed amongst lots of shells. It's been a much bigger belemnite that's eroded out as well. Can you guess what this is? It's actually a coprolite fossil, so it's fossil poo. Maybe from some sort of small fish or crocodile. not entirely sure. There's an ammonite and a belemnite right next to each other here, which is pretty cool. So you've got the squid-like creature here, and you've got the ammonite. As you can see, there's such a variety of fossils to find. So many different species of ammonites, belemnites, wood, coprolites. I mean, the list just goes on and on. This is the final bit of beach that we're going to be hunting on today. I've already managed to fill this bag. There's definitely an ammonite in this one. Another one. Be nice if we can find something a little bit different before we leave the beach. Looks like we have a potential double ammonite nodule here. You can see one, and if we rotate it round, there's another one. Whenever we get doubles like this, we always keep them without splitting them, and that way, once they're prepared, we can have both ammonites together. Oh, another ammonite down here. Oh, when I turned it over, it's already been broken, unfortunately. I've got a nodule here which isn't an ammonite, but it's actually got lots of fossil shells in it. So all of these little white dots that you can see are small bivalve fossils. Pretty neat. There we are, another ammonite. Yeah, there's another one there. There's definitely one in there. At one point it has been a double as well. There we are, here's another one. Again, it's been another double at one point, but because it's been in the sea for so long, it's just partially eroded away. There we are, I knew we'd find some fossil wood at some point. Oh, it's not even fossil wood, it's actually a piece of jaw. Wow, looks like it's a piece of ichthyosaur jaw. No teeth by the looks of it, unfortunately, but it's still a nice little find. Wasn't expecting to find this at all. Couple more ammonite pieces, really small ammonite there, which might have a centre. And this one, which has been completely flattened, it's revealed some lovely calcite chambers, but someone else might like to find it. There's a block here filled with fossil shells. There's been quite a few in there actually. Even some crinoid further up. There's a bit more of the crinoid down there. Nothing that's worth saving, but it's just nice to look at. I've got another block of shells just here. It's quite a nice sized piece actually. It's not a piece that I'd personally take, but you can see why other people would like to take it. It's a lovely, interesting piece. Got lots of shells in there. You can see it's just rammed all the way through. I don't think there's anything but shells in there. What have we got here? It's a limestone nodule with some pyrite on the outer edge, but I don't think there'll be a fossil in that one. See, there's a lovely, nice size one there. It's only just started to erode out of the limestone itself as well. It's definitely one for the bag. And another one. This could potentially be something pretty cool. You can see there I've got some calcite. Well, there's quite clearly something in there. Looks like it's an ammonite. It actually looks like it's got a keel there as well, which means it's most likely a Hildoceras ammonite in there. It's going to be interesting to see how well preserved it is, considering there's lots of calcite veins running through it. Certainly got quite a few nice ones just in this little section. Let's get back over to the bag. As you can see, we've got such a variety of nodules, all varying sizes. There's some large ones, some small ones. Some of them have been quite eroded, but hopefully, with the preparation tools at home, we'll be able to save some and get some really nice examples. I'm just going to put my safety glasses on, and then we'll get straight into splitting them open and seeing what's inside. And it's split open rather easily, but inside the nodule is completely empty. There's a really worn ammonite in this nodule, but I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to split. Let's have a look. Oh wow, this is all we could see to start with, so you can see that not much of the ammonite was left, but once we've split it open, you can see that there's a perfect middle in there. So this specimen, for example, just clean up this outer edge and just keep this small centre. See some lovely calcite chambers as well. This next rock is one that someone's already tried to split, but left, because it looks like there's nothing inside. But let's make sure. Right, so you can see that the nodule itself was quite thin, but I've just removed a tiny bit more, and you can see that there is actually an ammonite in there. I think we'll just take that one as it is, and it's one that we'll be able to clean up. This next rock I picked up off camera, but there's actually lots of cross sections of ammonites inside. And inside, there's been a partial Harpoceras ammonite and a couple of little gracile fossils. This is originally all we could see, so you can see that the majority of that ammonite's already gone. But inside just gives you an insight into what it could have looked like if it had preserved well. Some lovely pyritisation on it, but unfortunately, a lot of the ammonite hasn't been preserved. So I'll leave this one on the beach. We're down to our last two rocks now. I'm going to try this Hildocerus ammonite first, and then this more perfect Dactyliocerus ammonite. So with the Hildocerus ammonite, this is the one with lots of calcite veins, so I'm not too sure how it's going to split. Right, we've got a split, and it actually split along that calcite vein which was showing. Although it's not perfect by any means, it's still a pretty cool fossil, and that's just because it's filled with lots and lots of calcite. You can see in this calcified stone that the fossil itself is completely preserved in calcite. Just look at all that calcite crystal. It's really nice to be able to see all of the individual chambers of the ammonite. Again, not one that I'd take, but I'll leave this one on the rock because I'm sure someone else would love to find that. On to our last ammonite nodule now. Fingers crossed it splits open well. Right, it certainly sounded like a nice split. Oh wow, nice. It's come out pretty well. Let's get a closer look. So you've certainly got lots going on with this particular specimen. You can see that you've got some of the natural shell actually still intact on the outer edge, and as well as that you've then got some pyritization, but you've also got all of this calcite within the chamber as well. You can see here where the ammonite's filled with lots of fine silt and other minerals, which is calcified, and then you've got this other section on the outer edge which presumably is filled with nothing but just mud, and that's why it's just this dull grey colour. So you've certainly got a lot going on with this particular specimen. It's definitely one that I'll be taking, so I'll tape that up. We can put that one in the bag. As you can see, we've certainly got a lot of ammonite fossils to take home today, but as well as that we have that little piece of ichthyosaur jaw which we found earlier in the video. Let's get a closer look. We've got some loose rock chippings here from the rocks that we split earlier, so I'm just going to make a little hole and just bury those ones. And then hopefully, as the tide comes in, these shards are going to get washed out and then get worn into the rest of these beach stones here. So eventually they'll just look like all the other stones on the beach. I think it's safe to say we had a pretty incredible hunt today. There were so many ammonites, it was actually surreal. Of course, we still found that a little bit of ichthyosaur jaw as well, which was a really unexpected find. That's me done for now. I've searched as many pebbles as I want to search through. I think if I searched any more, my bag would get a little bit too heavy. Going to make my way back up to the top of the cliff now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.